Hi guys, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be talking about probably something pretty controversial surrounding the Total Drama fan base right now. I'm going to talk about why I think Total Drama will not get renewed. Now, I haven't scripted this out, I don't have a script I'm reading, I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts on why I don't think it's going to be renewed. And the reason why I don't think it's going to be renewed is because I think the way television is moving is not into the direction that Total Drama fits in. And the reason why it doesn't fit in there is because of the way they've written the past couple seasons, which have been not so great. And the reason why I say not so great is because obviously we've had some very, very huge problems with the way the show's been written. And the way people want to have their content, or the way content is delivered to kids now, is a lot more different, and you can tell that different ways of writing and different ways of approaching a show means so much more than anything else, like compared to art style and all that stuff. It all depends on the writing, and I think Total Drama has failed in that writing department. You might be asking, well, how have they failed? Well, I'm gonna use Steven Universe as a very good place to bounce Total Drama off to see how it compares to one of the most successful modern cartoons nowadays. Now, when you look at Steven Universe, I haven't watched a single episode of Steven Universe. I've only seen this video here of this guy who did the top 10 Steven Universe episodes, and he explains it very well. Steven Universe has this sense of heart and this sense of meaning to itself. It treats its audience with a sort of respect, and that's what makes it so great. Whereas Total Drama has gone in this direction of treating their fan base as if we're stupid, or as if the things they're doing are what it's meant to be. Total Drama is meant to be a satire on reality TV. The one thing they're failing to do is mimic reality TV. That's what they're failing to do now. What they're doing is they're trying to do what kids think is funny. Like it's a famous quote from Johnny Knoxville, and I'm not sure if it was Johnny Knoxville or Jeff Tremaine or somebody from the Jackass crew, but they've stated that they don't do what they think what they think people will think is funny. So here's the thing: they don't do what they think people think is funny or thinks is funny. So I'm saying they don't do what people tell them to do. They do what they think is funny. They do what makes them laugh. And that's why Jackass is so successful, is because they do what makes them laugh and they don't listen to what other people have to say. They do what they want to do, and that's great. It's authentic. It makes it so much better. You can tell it's coming from a passion point with them. But with Total Drama, it looks like they're going from what they think kids think is funny. So I don't know, whatever that could be. I really haven't been paying attention too much to the way Total Drama is written nowadays, because I guess they sort of eased us into this way of watching it, which I'm not really sure is the best way. Because when you think of satire, it has to be making fun of something that is actually real. The thing that made Total Drama Island so awesome was because they were making fun of Survivor. They were making fun of that. And that's what made it so great. With World Tour and Action, they sort of strayed off that path, and that's why they say they lost something and they went back towards the island and it came back. And then All Stars just sort of, I don't know, it was kind of like they had a boat. Total Drama Action and World Tour started to leak water into the boat. They went to Revenge of the Island, they bailed some water out, and then all of a sudden they just said, screw it, let's punch a hole in the bottom of our boat with our own cannons and sink to the bottom. And, right now they're sort of in limbo because they've been trying to bail out water using Pocket Island and the Redonkulous Race, but I don't think it's really going anywhere. The thing that I think they tried to do with the Redonkulous Race, in which they failed to do, was bring back the older audience to give it some heart. What they failed to do was give the show heart. And what do I mean by heart? I mean feeling an emotional connection to a character, feeling emotion when you watch the show. Like Steven Universe, there's a guy on the Total Drama Facebook fan page called Cole Machen, and I've mentioned him multiple times before, but he makes a good point. Steven Universe is better than Total Drama, and I haven't even watched a single episode of it. I just know it is from what I've heard about it, because it captivates people. I was watching the YouTube channel Nate Wants to Battle, and there's one song called "Let Me Try," and "Let Me Try" is a song from Steven Universe that Nate made a rock sort of cover to, and that song is amazing. It's amazingly good. I haven't heard the original version, but I know the Nate Wants to Battle version, and I can tell that that song, if it was mimicked like right off the show, it was done perfectly, and it has heart to it. And Total Drama has lost its heart, and that's why I think it's not going to get renewed, because people are responding in the way that, there's no heart. They need to do something to get people excited again. They need to bring the heart back. You got the body, but there's no heart pumping in it. And that's the problem I think they're facing. And that's why I'm not really watching anymore, because there's no heart. There's nothing that makes me want to watch it. Total Drama Island had tons of heart. It had it had like the Duncan arc, where with Duncan, DJ, and Jeff, where DJ lost the bunny and Jeff felt bad about it, so Duncan went and got DJ a new bunny. That has heart. It shows Duncan cares. Gwen and Trent, that shows heart. The Harold LaShawn thing, there's heart there. There's heart in the series. There's heart in the writing. There's something to prove. Whereas Action had nothing to prove. Rule Tour had nothing to prove. Revenge of the Island had nothing to prove. I guess you can say the Zoe and Mike thing proved something, I guess, but there's not much you can really point out from it. And that's the problem, is they've lost heart. They've stopped focusing on character development and more so on trying to make people laugh. The laughs will come as long as you have heart. And that's what the show lacks now, is heart. And I was enthusiastic about the Dauntless Race, because they said they're writing it for their older audience. And that's great. That means it's going to have some heart. It's going to have, the stuff that we want to have. It's like the stuff we want, People aren't interested in their cookie cutter, make me laugh, barf, and fart jokes. People want some content they can really absorb and think about. And that's what Total Drama is lacking at the moment, is that heart to, get people interested. Like Dave and Sky had tons of heart. Had they had Dave and Sky get together, it would have had some heart to it, maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while, so I can't really reference anything. But to say say Dave gave everything he could to be with her, and he ultimately sacrificed himself to help her win, or to help her get further, and then have her win because of Dave, that has heart. It shows that, if you're a dude and you really care about somebody, show you care. Don't just say you care, show you care. Actions speak louder than words. That is the heart of the message. Actions speak louder than words. That is the message. That's the heart of the story. And with Sean and Jasmine, I didn't really pay attention to the relationship too much, because I was so focused on what I thought was the main relationship. I thought the main relationship was going to be Sky and Dave. And then when they did this flip the script type thing on us and just sort of said, being creative, Dave and Sky don't get together, it's sort of like, well, I feel really unfulfilled right now. And that's just how it goes. You just feel unfulfilled because of how that ended. It's unfulfilling. You feel like you didn't experience the whole thing. It's like playing a modern day video game. You feel like you have to wait to get the full story because it's going to be in DLC or a next season. And that's the shitty part, is they're treating it like, DLC. You get the end of the story next season. Oh, there's more stuff coming later. It's like, why don't you wrap up what you're doing and insinuate what's going to happen next season? That's what I do with Total Drama Sky Island. I have a complete story, but I leave it open to next season to further develop. You don't leave it open in a shitty way. You leave it open in a good way. Like with Dave being abandoned on Pakatu Island, how is that at all supposed to make me feel good? How is that supposed to make me, smile at the very end and go, yeah, that was awesome, You watch Total Drama Island, Duncan and Owen wins. Yeah, it's awesome. Duncan and Owen were like the shit. They were great. And then you watch Total Drama Action, Beth and Duncan, both of them great competitors. Beth being the nice girl, Duncan being the bad boy, It makes me want to watch it. And it's just, I don't know. You watch World Tour and you're like, Alejandro versus Heather. This is an actual serious finale. We have two serious competitors fighting for the million. Great. That has an essence to it. It has a heart. It makes me pumped to watch it. You watch Total Drama Revenge of the Island, and you can slowly see where things start to get stupid, because no way in hell would somebody like Cameron ever make it to the finale. But I'm going to correct myself there and say nobody ever thought Cochran from Survivor would ever make it to a finale and win, because Cochran was basically just a super fan, but Cochran did end up winning. So I should take that back. It's actually okay. But where it starts to get unrealistic is the way the finale happens. Is like, you have Lightning versus Cameron, underdog versus overdog. Okay, cool. But then you put them in an unrealistic challenge. No, I don't want to see Cameron build an Iron Man suit. I want to see him beat Lightning on his own accord, Make him outsmart him, play up to his pluses. Cameron's smart. He can he has the smarts. Lightning doesn't. Have each one of them win based on their strengths. Don't make up some phony and baloney way of having Cameron sort of, have a way of beating Lightning. It's just insulting. And when you go to Total Drama All-Stars, having Mike and Zoe in the finale is actually okay. This is a good finale. But what really messed it up was when they included the helpers. The helpers became a part of the finale, sort of like Cody and Harold and Lindsay and Courtney. They become part of the finale. They matter. They are involved and they are helping. The reason why it screws up is because they go with Mal. Mal gets Alejandro and Heather. Alejandro and Heather are considered the evil couple of the show. Okay then, evil dude, evil couple, helping him. Fine, it works. And then they go to Zoe, and they go, Gwen, Cameron. What? Are you... Cameron? He's in a bubble. So obviously the scales have already tilted onto Mal's side with, this being Mal and Zoe being here and this being winning. You sort of see that, it's a little bit uneven. But here's how you make it better. Since Duncan and Gwen broke up mid-season, and it was because of Courtney, and then Gwen finds out Courtney is actually just a backstabber, wouldn't it make sense for Gwen to sort of forgive Duncan for trying to, stick it to her? And, have them make up in the finale? Wouldn't that make more sense? And then all of a sudden the scales are even, because there's good girl, good couple, Duncan and Gwen. The hero couple. The hero couple that should have been on the heroes team, that wasn't. There. Perfect. Hero couple, villain dude, hero girl. Boom. You have an awesome finale, because not only are we waiting to see who wins between Zoe and Mike, we're trying to see who wins between Duncan and Alejandro, Gwen and Heather. That's perfect. When you throw Cameron in there, you totally fuck up the entire balance. You totally screw up the heart of the story. The heart of your story is it's okay to dump somebody because they were trying to stick it to their ex who's trying to be that you're trying to be friends with, when that person knows they're evil. It's kind of like if I did this. Say my buddy is trying to be friends with this chick, but I dated her and I know I guess that's an awful analogy. Say I had a girlfriend and she was trying to be friends with my ex-girlfriend, but I knew my ex-girlfriend was really bad. Like, I knew she did bad things. I knew she was into bad things. I know she often threw people under the bus. I knew she used people. I knew that she could get in people's skin and make them believe her. I would not let my current girlfriend go be friends with her. So I would do everything in my power to make sure they didn't, become friends. It's not because I hate my ex-girlfriend. It's because I know that she is, in fact, not a great person. And I think that was what Duncan was trying to do. But like I said, I digress. The writing in that was shitty, and they should have done a lot better job with that. And I can say it's shitty because I'm criticizing it because it was bad. I'm not saying that the writers suck. I'm just saying the writing for that season in particular was not very well. And I can sit here and beg to be on the writing team all I want, and them tell me, no, I need to do this, and I do that, I need to do WGC, I need to do this. I can do all that, but it doesn't really matter, because they get paid to write and I don't, so they can sit there and say, well, we're professionals, we know what we're doing, But really, that's just a way of saying, like, I'm a pro soccer player, therefore I know how to play soccer really well, even though you sit on the bench the entire game. But like I said, I digress. They're writing it, I'm not. But that's just the way I think about it. And the way they messed that, like, they could have been renewed automatically for 5 more seasons or more, in my opinion, had they just written a proper All Stars finale. That's what bombed them, because when you look at Survivor All Stars, it was an epic. It had like 4 tribes, and all of them were cram packed full of people. Awesome players were there. There was Rupert, Colby, Boston Rob. There was a bunch of these awesome people, and in the very end, All Stars ended up being a couple in the finale. It's just what they were trying to do with Total Drama All Stars. They were trying to do a couple in the finale. The Survivor All Stars was Boston Rob and Amber. Total Drama All Stars was Mike and Zoe, both male-female couples. Which is, okay, you're mimicking, it's satire still, but you messed it up. I don't know how you mess up All Stars. Whenever I write a finale, or I've written 3 finales so far, and all of them are so epic, it gets my blood pumping. I read them and I'm like, yes, blood, like, I'm getting excited. I feel the heart in this. Like, I wrote the finale for Total Drama Western All Stars, which is the Pakatu versus Oskei Island, like Pakatu Island cast versus Oskei Island cast, and man, that one just has so much in it, so much heart. And the finale is not even just about who wins. It's like it says something greater. Winning is just a side factor to this. It's proving something in that finale, which is the main part of it. There's something to prove in that finale, and the money is not the prize. It's proving the other person wrong, which was the big part of Total Drama Island as well with Heather. Heather was the one who backstabbed and did all this mean stuff to get to the finale, whereas Owen and Gwen played the game fair and with heart. And that was the message in Total Drama Island, was being an evil bitch is not going to get you to the finale. It might get you far, but you're not going to win. The only way you can win if that happens is if you're there with somebody equally as bad as you at doing that sort of stuff. And that's what World Tour was having 2 expert villains facing off against each other to take each other down. And that's why that finale works. And that's why the message works well as well, is because it's 2 great mean competitors facing each other. If that finale had been Owen versus Heather would have not had a slim chance in hell of winning the vote, or the audience vote, where we the ones who pick who wins. She wouldn't have had a slim chance in hell. But because it's Heather and Alejandro versus each other, and there's a love connection there is a fairly good chance that things might flip either way. And because Alejandro did such a good job of being a villain, people are going to vote for him based on his gameplay skills. And you could say that people would vote for Heather based on her gameplay skills too, not when you're facing Owen, the big lovable goof who didn't vote anybody up besides, just playing along with people. That's the worst part ever, is Owen never made any big moves besides in a triple doggy dare you, because he gave Gwen some of his freebies. That's the only reason why he had such a good gameplay move there, is because he was and basically putting lots of pressure on Heather, because Gwen was immune because he was doing so many things. It's the only thing he did right. And basically, you could say that's the only really big move he made, was helping Gwen beat Heather in a triple doggy dare you. That's the only big gameplay move he had. And when you look at people like Duncan, he had some excellent gameplay moves, and to be fair, he did win Total Drama Action by luck. It was a very lucky move that Lindsay voted herself off. If not, he would have been gone that day. He won that by luck. But you can say other people have won by other people have stayed by luck as well. The only reason why Duncan was eliminated in Are You There Yeti is because Chef wanted to get rid of him. That's the only reason why Duncan was voted off, was because Chef wanted him gone. So basically he was voted off by Chef. Okay, whatever. I can deal with that. And the second time he won, his third elimination, he was teamed up on by Heather and Alejandro. But people can say that people will say it's one of the best eliminations because they blindsided such a good player. It's like had Duncan had known they were going to vote for him, he just would have said Heather. He would just would have said Sierra, Cody, let's vote off Heather, or whoever Sierra was having a shit fit about that day. Pretty sure it was who is no, that would have been the next episode. But let's just say Duncan makes up a lie and says, "Hey Sierra, I heard Heather was hitting on Cody. Let's vote her off." All right, so then all of a sudden it's Sierra, Duncan voting for Heather. So 2 votes Heather, 2 votes Duncan, tiebreaker. Probably Heather would win. But still, it's not a great move. It just means that people don't talk. They just wrote it that way so that they could have an excuse not to have a tiebreaker or to not have this, longer elimination. To have. I think it was Cody voted Sierra. Sierra voted, I think, Heather Alejandro, and then Heather and what's his face. Like everybody split their votes 1-1-1-1. Besides Heather and Alejandro, who went went one same person. But like I said, and I have an elimination just like that. But I do something to make it even more extreme. I give it heart. I give it this epic proportional feeling, this is a big elimination, and no matter what either side does, there's going to be a tiebreaker, and all the idols are in play at the moment. So it is a huge, huge, huge thing. But that's just what I've been doing, and and I know it's like I can say whatever I want to say, but the point is, I write Total Drama with Sky Island in all my seasons based on Survivor. What I like to see in Survivor. What makes me excited to watch Survivor. What makes me excited to watch reality TV. What makes me want to watch reality TV. And what makes me, jacked up to see the finale. It's like, when I go into finale, I think, what is the biggest impact I can have? I don't want the money to be the driving force of who wants to win. It needs to be something else, because everybody goes there to win the money. That's everything they have in common, is they all want to win the money, and that's not a great driving force. All of them want to win the money, so who cares about that? But when you make the finale about something else, it becomes even greater. It's like, I'm going to use Dave and Sky as an example. Say Sky is losing in the finale and Dave does another thing to help her get ahead, like sacrificing himself, or doing something, maybe she gets hurt and he does something to maybe help her get ahead again, and something like that. That makes it even more hard, because not only is Dave trying to just win for Sky so Sky can win, it actually proves that Dave wants to see her win. It gives it some heart. Or you can have Sean and Jasmine going through something like they did before, that had heart, because it was Sean being a selfish jerk and Jasmine being like, oh, what a jerk, he's not going to share the money with me if I help him. It's got to have that heart in it, or else it's not going to go anywhere. There's no reason to watch. And even with, I didn't even watch most of the Redonkulous Race finale, because once I sort of knew what was going on, I knew that it was going to be a repeat of Total Drama Island. Have the villain get to the final, the villains or villain team get to the final 3, then have them get kapowed. And then it's like, oh, it's the all-girl team and the all-boy team facing off against each other. What they could have done to make that simpler was just go with 2 boy-girl teams to get into the finale. Have Carrie and Devin, or Stephanie and Mike make it to the finale, and then it doesn't matter. You're not basing your vote on female power, because I saw that bullshit all over the Total Drama Facebook page as well. We gotta let the cadets win so we have a female winner. It's like, you vote for the person who deserves to win the most, not based on what genitalia they have. And that's the part that annoys me the most, is people voted based on gender in the Redonkulous Race finale, because they wanted to have female winners. It doesn't matter. You vote for who you want to vote for based on how you feel about them, not based on their gender. And Total Drama with Sky Island is a great way of doing that, because I know it's going to go to an audience vote, but I know that there's so many different things at play. People are going to have a hard time voting. because at one point you're going to be voting for one person, you're going to be voting for another, and plus the finale is a two-parter. So we get through half of the finale, and then it's going to be that break. There's going to be a break, like a month of voting, until we reach the conclusion. And that's what's going to be just the most crunging thing ever, is because you got to wait a month to see part 2 of the finale, because that's the time you get to vote. After you see that first part of the finale, you get to go, okay, after I see a little bit of the finale, who do I want to actually win? Because say so-and-so is in the lead in the part 1, or so-and-so is in the last. That's going to affect your vote. But it's going to be like, do I want them to lose? Do I want them to win? What is going to happen? But anyways, that's why I don't think Total Drama is going to get renewed, because there's no hype anymore. There's no heart. And sadly, I don't think they can repair that unless they decide to go with Netflix or do a crazy move. I don't know, state locally that they hired an independent writer like myself, a fan, to get the series going again. I think that'd be a great move for them to get some publicity back and, get some hype again. But like I said, they can sit there and say that they're the professionals, and I'm just the guy sitting in my apartment baking to death in the sun because it's Kelowna, BC, and it's hot as shit outside. But anyways, guys, those are my reasons why. That's my explanation of why I don't think Total Drama is going to get renewed. I would like it to get renewed, but at the same time I wouldn't, because I don't want them to go further into the shit pot. But either way, guys, thank you for watching. It's been a long time. Check out the other channel I'm working on. It's called Bouseflix. I work for the channel creator Maximus Black. He's a Twitch streamer. You can go to his videos right here. I edited this review. This is a review for the Jungle Book. If you guys want to check that out, it'd be great. I edited this myself, and I sent it to him, and he uploads it. So if you guys want to give him a like and subscribe and let him know that I sent you, that'd be awesome. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time on another Total Drama Oskay Island video, or just Total Drama video in general.